All right, so this one's kind of more back to the book. How many ways can you arrange five books along a shelf, assuming that the order of the book makes a difference? All right, so I'm going to say we're just going to draw five slots here, three, four, five, and figure out how many we can do. So order is going to make a difference because it says order makes a difference. So that means we have five ways to choose this one. Well, if we have five here, there's only going to be four left after we've chosen that one. After we've chosen that one, there's only three left. After we chose that, there's only two left. After we've chosen that, there's only one way there. So if we multiply all those together, that should tell us how many ways we can do that. So we go back over to our calculator. We're going to take 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and we get 120 ways just to arrange five books on a shelf. So, if we're taking a minute per way, that's like 2 hours to get all the different possible ways we can arrange those five books on the shelf. So think about that when people say arrange these in a certain order. There's 120 ways just to do five books alone. So if you have a lot more than that, it's going to take even more time than we have there. All right. So now, with that said, if you've kind of been paying attention, we've had a lot of multiplying numbers down as we go. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say, if we have something like maybe 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, that's actually given a special name and a special symbol. And what it is called 7 factorial. And it's written as 7 with an exclamation mark. So that exclamation mark means factorial. So if we're given 7 factorial, that means we have to multiply this out like this. And if we do that on our calculator, we're going to get 5,040. Okay. And so when we do this on a calculator, it's not too bad doing it, it's 7 times or anything like that. But if you start getting bigger numbers, say, 15 times, maybe 15 factorial, that's going to be like we had on that very first problem for the number of ways to do those 15 books. That's going to take a long time to type them all in. So let's write down or talk about what we have here and some special factorial, and then we'll show you how on the calculator what we can do. So factorial notation again, that's the exclamation mark. So if n is a positive integer, then the notation n factorial is the product of all positive integers from n all the way down to 1. So it's going to be n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 times n minus 3 and so on until we get times 3 times 2 times 1. Now, 0 factorial, if you ever see that, by definition, 0 factorial is 1. And so you don't even have to type anything in your calculator. By definition, 0 factorial is 1. So now let's look at our calculator and see about typing in things like 7 factorial or 15 factorial. We can even do 0 factorial. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to first type in our number. So say 15. And if we want factorial, then we'll hit our math key. And then it's going to be over here in probability. So we have to arrow over to probability. And then notice we have a factorial sign, that the exclamation mark. So that's number 4. So we're going to choose 4. So 15 factorial, that's where we got that number of minutes, 1.307674368 times 10 to the 12th minutes. And then we converted that to years, and we got 2.7 years or whatever, 2.7 million years or whatever it was. But that's how we're going to do it. Now, if we wanted that 7 factorial, again, arrow over twice, go to number 4, and I think that was 5040. Yep, so 5040. And then remember, we did a 5 factorial for the number of books for that, and that should be 120. And we see that we get 120. Now let's try 0 factorial and see if it tells us what that is. And it does, tells us it's 1. So we can use that factorial key in our calculator instead of typing out all the whole list of numbers, 15 times 14 times 13 times 12 times 11 times 10 and so on. So that's kind of a key. Now it doesn't always work, because when you start getting big numbers, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do something a little bit different, which we'll see here in a little bit. So let's stop there and we'll come back for more.